How often do we feel discouraged, as if our hopes are slipping away? It's natural that, amid life's adversities, our dreams may seem distant and unattainable. However, there is a truth that transcends our momentary circumstances. There is someone who is absolutely trustworthy, whose word remains unshakable. Reflect with me. When we look at the starry sky or contemplate the vastness of the ocean, we realize how small we are in the face of creation. Yet the Creator of all this splendor cares deeply about each one of us. He not only cares but works tirelessly on our behalf, shaping our journey with purpose and love. Imagine for a moment, you are building something precious, perhaps a relationship, a career, or a ministry. You have dedicated time, effort, and tears to this project. Now think about how it would be if someone much wiser and more powerful than you committed to finishing this work, ensuring it would be even more magnificent than you could imagine. Isn't that a comforting perspective? That is exactly what the Lord promises to do in our lives. He is the master craftsman, the supreme architect who sees the whole picture when we only glimpse fragments. His faithfulness is not like that of men, which can waver or wear out over time. No, his faithfulness is eternal, as unchanging as the stars in the sky. When doubts whisper in our ears, when fear tries to paralyze us, it's crucial to remember that we are in the hands of someone whose word never fails. The Lord's promises are not mere empty words. They are powerful declarations that shape reality. The book of Isaiah, chapter 55, verse 11, reminds us, "So shall my word be that goes forth from my mouth. It shall not return to me void, but it shall accomplish what I please, and it shall prosper in the thing for which I sent it." Think of the times when you witnessed divine faithfulness in your own life. Perhaps it was a moment of need when unexpected help arrived, or when a door opened after countless frustrating attempts. These are not mere coincidences, but tangible signs of a God who fulfills his promises. And if you are in a moment of waiting, where your dreams seem distant and your prayers apparently unanswered, remember, the Lord's timing is perfect. He is neither late nor rushed. Every moment of waiting is an opportunity for growth, to strengthen our faith and deepen our trust in Him. Have you ever stopped to consider that perhaps the Lord is working behind the scenes in your life at this very moment? What grand plans might He be orchestrating, even when we cannot see or understand? Our vision is limited, but His is infinite. So today I invite you to renew your trust in the Lord. Surrender to Him your dreams, your fears, your expectations. Allow His faithfulness to be the foundation upon which you build your life. For truly, there is no more solid foundation. May we together declare with conviction, "Though heaven and earth may pass away, the word of our God will remain forever." His faithfulness is our anchor in turbulent times, our beacon in the darkness. And with this certainty, we can face each day with renewed hope, knowing that He who began the good work in us is perfectly capable of completing it. As we reflect on the Lord's unshakable faithfulness, we are reminded of a powerful passage found in the book of Philippians, chapter 1, verse 6. The Apostle Paul tells us, "Being confident of this, that He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus." This statement brings us profound assurance. The Lord, in His infinite wisdom, has begun something precious in each of us. These are not random or purposeless projects, but works carefully planned by His loving hands. And the most comforting thing is knowing that He not only starts, but commits to finishing what He began. How often are we tempted to give up when the obstacles seem insurmountable? It is in these moments that we need to hold on to this truth. The Lord is faithful to complete His work in us, regardless of the circumstances we feel. Forgive us for our lack of faith in difficult moments. We thank You because even in our weakness You remain steadfast. Your constancy does not depend on our merits, but on Your unconditional love. We pray that You strengthen our trust in You so that we may rest in the certainty of Your promises, even when we do not understand Your ways. The story of Esther, recorded in the book of Esther, presents us with a powerful testimony of the Lord's faithfulness in action. Esther, a young Jewish woman, found herself in an unexpected position as Queen of Persia. When her people faced the threat of annihilation, she was called to risk everything to intercede for them. In the book of Esther, chapter 4, verse 14, her uncle Mordecai says to her, "And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this?" In that crucial moment, Esther could have chosen silence and personal safety. However, she recognized that the Lord had placed her in that position for a greater purpose. With courage and faith, she risked her life to save her people, trusting in divine protection and providence. Like Esther, we can trust that the Lord positions us strategically in our current circumstances, no matter how challenging they may seem. He is actively involved, turning our moments of crisis into opportunities to manifest His glory and fulfill His purposes in our lives and the lives of those around us. Allow me to share a recent story that illustrates this truth. A young woman was facing a series of setbacks in her career. After losing her job due to company cuts, she found herself struggling to find a new position. Months passed, and every door seemed to close. Despair began to set in. However, she persisted in her faith, trusting that the Lord had a greater plan. Unexpectedly, an opportunity arose in a completely new field where she could use her skills in ways she had never imagined. This change not only provided financial stability but also placed her in a position to positively impact many lives. This story reminds us that the Lord's ways often surprise us. What seems like an end may be just the beginning of something extraordinary that He has planned. Now I invite you to a moment of deep reflection. If you can, close your eyes and think of an area in your life where you have struggled to maintain hope. Perhaps it's a difficult relationship, a dream that seems impossible, or a personal battle you've been facing for years. Visualize this situation in your mind. Now imagine the Lord working tirelessly behind the scenes, moving pieces you cannot see, preparing paths you cannot yet imagine. Feel the peace that comes with the certainty that He has not abandoned His work in you. Take a deep breath and allow this truth to permeate your being. The Lord who began the good work in you is faithful to complete it. Your times of waiting are not in vain. Every challenge, every obstacle, is being used by Him to shape you and prepare the way for the fulfillment of His purposes. As we open our eyes, let us carry with us this renewed confidence in His faithfulness. May we face each day with the certainty that we are in the hands of a God who does not fail, who does not give up, and who always keeps His promises. Lord, at this moment, I lift my voice in prayer, acknowledging Your sovereignty and faithfulness in my life. Loving Father, I confess that many times I allow myself to be weighed down by circumstances, forgetting Your constant presence and care. Forgive me for the moments when I doubted Your promises and tried to solve everything with my own strength. I am deeply grateful for Your inexhaustible patience and love. Thank You for not giving up on me, even when I wanted to give up. Your faithfulness has been my sustenance in the most difficult moments. I ask that You renew my faith and hope. Help me to fully trust in Your plans, even when I cannot understand them. May I see every challenge as an opportunity for growth and every wait as a time of preparation. Lord, I place all my dreams, projects, and expectations in Your hands. I know that Your thoughts are higher than mine, and Your ways superior to mine. May I rest in the certainty that You, who began the good work in me, are faithful to complete it in Your perfect time. Strengthen me to persevere, to not give up when the road seems difficult. May Your word be a lamp to my feet and a light to my path, guiding me in every step of this journey. In Your powerful name I pray, confident in Your faithfulness. As we reflect on the Lord's immeasurable faithfulness, we are reminded of a fundamental truth. He who began a good work in us is absolutely trustworthy to bring it to completion. This is not just a vague hope, but an unshakable certainty that can anchor our souls amid life's storms. Think for a moment. How often do we encounter situations that seem impossible to overcome? Circumstances that make us question whether our dreams will ever come true? It is in these moments that we need to hold firmly to the promise that the Lord not only begins His work in us, but commits to completing it. This truth invites us to a shift in perspective. Instead of focusing on momentary difficulties, we are called to lift our eyes and contemplate the bigger picture that the Lord is painting in our lives. Every challenge, every moment of waiting, every apparent defeat, all of this is part of the process by which He is shaping us and preparing us for the fulfillment of His purposes. Remember, the Lord's timing is perfect. He is neither late nor rushed. His faithfulness remains constant, even when we cannot see or understand His ways. The Lord's promises are not affected by the changing circumstances of this world. They remain firm, more secure than the foundations of the earth. So today, let this truth penetrate deeply into your heart. You are not alone in your journey. The Lord, in His infinite wisdom and love, is actively involved in every aspect of your life. He sees the end from the beginning and is working all things for the good of those who love Him. I challenge you to take a step of faith today. Identify that area in your life where you have struggled to maintain hope. Perhaps it's a difficult relationship, an apparently impossible dream, or a personal battle you've been facing for years. Now, completely surrender it into the Lord's hands. Acknowledge His sovereignty and confess your trust in His faithfulness. More than that, I invite you to act on that trust. Take the next step towards that dream, even if it seems small. Persist in prayer for that difficult situation, knowing that the Lord is working behind the scenes. Choose to forgive, love, and serve, even when you don't see immediate results. For it is through our faithfulness in the small things that we demonstrate our trust in the Lord's greater faithfulness. Remember, your story is still being written. The current chapter, no matter how challenging it may seem, is not the end. The Lord, the author and finisher of our faith, is guiding every step, every comma, every period. And He is perfectly capable of turning even our greatest struggles into testimonies of His grace and power. May this truth be a constant source of encouragement to you. On the days when you feel weak, remember that the Lord's strength is made perfect in our weakness. When the path seems uncertain, trust that He is lighting the next step. And when the wait seems endless, rest in the certainty that the Lord is working, even when we cannot see. May the Lord of peace grant you an unshakable confidence in His faithfulness. May His constant presence be your comfort in moments of loneliness. May His infinite wisdom guide each of your decisions. And may His unconditional love be the foundation upon which you build your life. Go forward with courage, knowing that you are in the hands of a God who does not fail. His faithfulness is your shield and fortress. Let this truth transform not only your perspective but also your daily actions. Live in a way that reflects your trust in the Lord, thus becoming a living testimony of His faithfulness to those around you. If this message touched your heart and renewed your hope, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who may need encouragement today. Leave a comment sharing how the Lord's faithfulness has manifested in your life. Subscribe to receive more inspiring content that will feed your faith daily. Together, we can create a community that celebrates and supports one another, reminding each other of the inexhaustible faithfulness of our God. May the grace of the Lord, which is new every morning, sustain you in every step of your journey. His faithfulness is great. His work in you will be completed. Trust, persevere, and see the glory of the Lord manifest in your life.